How many of the games did you guys catch this weekend?
Everyone.
Every single one of them.
Every single one. I didn't miss a second.
I knew that you'd be glued to it. Well, listen, man. I mean, this weekend reminded us why football still owns the American sports calendar. Today, we're going to talk about NFL wildcard chaos. We're going to touch on a couple of our more controversial topics from our last episode. And guess what? I got another controversial topic moving ahead. So get ready, social. Okay. So another incredible playoff weekend last weekend. I mean, high stakes, high drama, champions fallen, a couple of youngins proven themselves, and somehow at the end of it all, our vaunted QB trust pyramid was really put to the test. And guess what? We're fucking right. We were right.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. CB, I'm going to start with you. Since you watched every second of this past weekend, anything that stands out to you the most?
I am so pissed that CJ Stroud was carried yet again to the playoffs.
I was waiting for that.
I wanted the Steelers to win just so everybody could realize, oh my God, this guy's horrible. 5 fumbles and an interception. Instead,
So bad.
he's leaving the game and he's like doing the crying face or why you mad to the fans. It's like, we're mad because we lost to the worst quarterback ever. Like, all of your points were from a running back and your defense. Like, that's so sad. You suck.
He was
So,
Ms.
dude, he's not good at quarterback. I'm not even kidding. He has
every throw. He looked.
What do you mean? They didn't heat up. They never got hot.
Scoring game to the defense. I think the defense got hot. You look at the second half.
Yeah, okay. The defense. That's a really good point because I already made that. What are you saying about CJ Stroud? He can make every throw. He didn't get hot. He never got hot.
He won
he
the
had
game.
2 good passes. He didn't win the game.
Griff,
he did.
Was bad.
He didn't win the game. There's a difference. His team won the game.
It's not like
he didn't.
Like Superman and like won the team.
Oh, he played way worse than Superman
in the game.
5 fumbles and an interception. That's so far from Superman.
He played like Aquaman out of the water.
He didn't actually have 5 fumbles. Did he have 5
very
fumbles?
Slippery.
He had 5 fumbles.
He did.
Oh, Jesus.
Pretty bad.
Take it back. Take back my take. You just walk back a little bit. 5 fumbles?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. Listen,
if you touched him, he fumbled it.
That's okay. So CJ Stroud, I mean, I absolutely knew that was coming from you. I mean, with Josh Allen, we got exactly kind of what we expected. Trevor, is he an evangelist? Is he a serial killer? Lawrence? I don't know. No one knows. He was Trevor Lawrence again. I will never be confident in a guy like that. It just is what it is, man. I'm sorry. Until he proves it, I'm out.
Yeah. He
had the
played
better
exactly.
Team
he did. I thought that game, it was kind of exactly what we expected. Allen to just muscle his way through and win the game. I mean, James Cook was a non-factor, which I didn't expect. If anything, he was a decoy. They shut him down. Shakir did pretty well, but Allen's throwing to guys like Shakir, who's, I don't even know, 5'8", 5'9".
I didn't even know Brandon Cooks was in the league.
Dude, Brandon Cooks, and it's like Brandon Cooks is like, first down, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy because he's literally playing with guys that are practice squad or like way past their prime. It was amazing to see them pull it off. But I did expect it. One thing I wanted to touch on, I was very happy to see Jalen Hurts lose.
Well, yeah, I was waiting on that one too.
Not as much as Stroud. Well, Stroud didn't lose, which pisses me off, but I did get some gratification from Hurts losing because it just proves my point. He's not clutch, dude, when the team isn't perfect around him. And by the way, they actually ran the ball pretty well. I think Saquon had over 100 yards, and I couldn't say anything bad about the running game. A.J. Brown did drop a ball or 2, but when you're going to stand there and tell me and pay the guy like he's elite and he doesn't win against a completely ravished, injury-riddled team like the Niners, that says something to me. It says I was right, that he's not clutch, he's not good. Sirianni's terrible.
He is actually.
They won a Super Bowl on accident. They had they won a Super Bowl with
GM
talent.
won that Super Bowl. Let's be honest. The GM won it. He got them.
Saquon won it.
They're
but
going to be in cap hell after this year,
yes.
and it was really gonna behoove them to win that game and at least have, make enough noise to get into the playoffs. Who knows? I mean, they've been able to reinvent themselves in a way that other teams in recent years had not. Kudos to them for that. But what they did was stack up all of this talent over the last few years, both sides of the ball, and it's because they weren't paying a quarterback any money. Frank, think about it. It was Wentz, then Foles, then Hurts. I'm sure I'm missing somebody that was in between there. There was a janitor somewhere that was there
Yeah.
playing. And, when you're not paying a quarterback, you can pay everybody else and you can get a bunch of studs. And the way that it works is if you can catch lightning in a bottle, and they were able to do it for a little bit, but now it's like, dude, you've mortgaged everything for now, and
Mhm.
if the team can't even get along, the coach is honestly a non-factor or a detriment more than anything else. Way too confident in his abilities, and he's a young guy, so maybe they thought he could connect with people. Gave one of the strangest pressers I've ever seen
Yes.
in his initial interview. Like that's gonna be seared into my memory in my deathbed. I'm gonna be thinking about Nick Sirianni's weird ass press conference. And then their OC is a guy that I'm pretty sure he owns a pizza parlor like down the street.
Kevin Patullo, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gotta be. He better be.
He's fired, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Was
they
a
needed a
truth
scapegoat. They
for them
could
all
get rid of the
season.
whole staff. It's disappointing for Eagles fans, but I think they all hated this team anyways because all they do is just bitch at each other left and right. So it was due. I didn't think that the Niners were going to do it because they're so injury riddled, and it's because apparently they have a power plant next to the fucking stadium that is nuking all of their knee bones and cartilages.
Yeah, I saw a funny thing that the Seahawks are extra prepared this weekend, and they have 4 blue tents set up for them on their side.
I mean, it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting.
For a moment, let's go back to Philly. I loved your point, Shane, on the quarterback being paid after Super Bowl. And you saw a very similar thing with Brock Purdy in San Francisco. They have all these great guys, great talent. You get a later round quarterback. Jalen Hurts was a day 2 quarterback. Brock Purdy, day 3 quarterback on the NFL draft. You build around these guys because they fit your system with the skill guys that you have around you. Then you go, you overachieve, say you win the Super Bowl or don't, that's still a big payday. And if that guy's not the guy, you're kind of screwed because you got to pay him. You got to pay him.
Well, then
Like a
it's because
situation that people thought was similar was Jared Goff with the Rams a couple years ago too. Took him to the Super Bowl. He really didn't look that great, but now that he's in Detroit, he's kind of earned that money.
that's
You see it a lot. You have these superstar teams, and everyone thinks someone's got to get the credit. Let's give it to the quarterback. It's not always the quarterback.
well,
Mhm.
look at our history in the NFL, particularly the last 20 years. So it's either a quarterback that is conservative and is not going to make a mistake like a young Brady, and you have a really good defense on one end to kind of protect him and keep games closer, and then they've got to have clutch moments in there, or you have a superstar quarterback who can make it work with anybody because they're crazy talented and just so happens that they got ice in their veins. That's your Mahomes, that's your Josh Allen, that's the guys like that. Every now and again, the outliers like a Flacco or a Stafford, guys that are like talented but not known for being elite, and you have to have discussions about are they elite? Yeah, Stafford didn't get in that discussion until all guys that were actually elite retired, and he
And
just
for the
happens to be like the last
definition
one.
of elite, the definition of elite is this guy is a Hall of Famer. It's not this guy,
That
oh,
should be.
he might be really good. It's like, no, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. You know it.
Yeah,
And that's your
elite
thing.
is
Like
the guy you don't need
there's the team
anybody else,
that have
you just need to
the
show up to the
superstar.
stadium and you got it.
Hmm.
That's elite.
And there's those teams that have the superstar QB you've seen in the past. Cam Newton really carried like a pretty bad offense. You've got all these Josh Allen teams, these Lamar Jackson teams. Mahomes is a little bit somewhat there. I mean, he's got some Hall of Fame players with him on offense that he's had, but then you have these teams that build a great roster and then they just get into cap hell because they overpay a quarterback that doesn't deserve that superstar money.
Yep.
We
That'll
all
be
know what
Houston.
happens too. It's not a secret. Like, everybody
It
knows
looks
it's
like
like,
it is Houston right now too. Yeah, it looks like they jumped the gun on it and overpaid
They're
early.
next.
who is? Who'd you say?
Houston's next.
You know that they are. You know
Because
they're gonna look at one playoff win, even though it was a miserable win, and it was the defense that won the game, and they're gonna be like, "Well, the guy can win."
yes, his agent's gonna say 3 years, 3 playoffs. I mean, what do you want me to
Like
do?
heck. Exactly.
Mhm.
I fear something similar is gonna happen, in Chicago. I mean, you've seen Caleb Williams. It's been all year with him. It's been up and down, up and down. He hasn't really found consistency. I mean, he went a perfect 50% completion rate for for this weekend, and it really told the story of his whole day. You know, he was
Yep.
up and down, and they had a miraculous comeback. Good on them. But that's another team where they're taking advantage of that. He's got a lot of guys around him right now. We'll see how that plays out long term for
A
this.
weirdly smart move by the Chicago Bears, who are notoriously pathetic, and they have so this weekend we had 2, I'll say 2 QBs that were young guys that needed to prove themselves that had really shaky first halves, like, at best, if we're being nice, and that's Caleb and Drake May. They were fine. They didn't really turn it on until the second half and crunch time when it really needed to happen. In Drake May's case, he really used his legs. It wasn't a great day for him. It was not his best game. Caleb, you could say the same, not his best game, but talent ended up coming out and winning.
He's clutch, dude.
I mean, these guys are clutch, and there's something to be said for that. Meanwhile, you have on the other end of the spectrum, you have your guys like Jordan Love, who came out and after that first half, I was like, "Oh my god, okay, well, this isn't even gonna be close, jeez."
Yeah.
And then the whole team craps the bed in the second half. That's it.
4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. The reason I think they lost, and I called this when the season started, the dumbest trade of all time. Let me put all my chips in on Micah Parsons. Everyone yelled at me and said, "You're an idiot. Micah's so good." Sure. He's so
Very good.
good. He's hurt. He's an injury guy.
Yep.
He's one of those guys that gets the bug and he's sick all the time. He's going to get hurt. He's never going to give you a full season. I just I'm not a believer in giving up all your draft capital, $47 million, to a 26-year-old who isn't all in. He gets hurt. He's not big. He's not Miles Garrett where you're like,
No.
no, this guy's actually a machine that cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
He's skinny. He's kind of got that Von Miller type build, except even smaller than Von Miller. He looks like an outside linebacker, and he doesn't play the run well. He's more of a rush guy. He's a one tool guy and he has a really sharp one tool and it's really good, but they put all their chips in on that. And when he was gone, you saw that defense get decimated towards the end of the game.
Yeah, of
And
course.
he's also like a locker room problem. He was a problem
Oh, yeah.
in Dallas. It's always about me, 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 my deal, my deal. Like someone
Yes.
else just got paid and he's like, "What about me?" It's like how
Yep.
selfish can you be rather than just be happy for your teammates. Like good on him getting generational money. Good on him like having a voice, having his podcast and stuff. But that stuff is a distraction at the same time. That's why there's a guy like Miles Garrett who is going to be a no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer because their mindset's different, how they attack every day. Micah Parsons, as soon as they made that trade, you're trading one guy for three starters. You're getting Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. You know, that's a great haul. I will take that haul every time if I'm Dallas because a defensive end is never going to win you championships.
Was it
The
2
last
or
person did
3
was
first round
Von
picks?
Miller. That's the last one, but he was also
I think
surrounded
it
by
was
a
2
bunch of
first and a
other
second.
really good players. And then he got paid, and then he bounced around from a bunch of teams as a mercenary. Went to the Rams, went to the Bills. Maybe he's still on the Bills. I don't know. They have like a geriatric division
The
on the
Bills
Bills.
paid him, and he
Who are you
did.
talking about?
Von Miller.
No, he was on the Redskins this year.
Oh, for God's sakes. I mean, you see what I mean?
I mean, Commanders.
Once you pay those guys, that just I'm sorry, dude. It's out. And you kind of know it and you feel for him as a fan because you're like, dude, that guy's one of the best in the business at what he does. They should get paid like it because in any other walk of life, you would get paid. but this just happens to be a salary cap sport where you have limitations on what you can do and on your roster building. Putting that much weight behind one guy, if it's not the guy that has the ball in his hands the most, not a good idea. It's never worked. It's never going to work. What we have found over the last 20 years is when you pay the guy that is the captain of the team, that has the ball in his hands in every play, and when the moments matter the most, they have the control, you're probably going to be in good shape if that guy is the best of the best or one of the top 5. If he's not, then you better hope that he has some kind of like Joe Flacco and can just turn that shit on in the playoffs and has no heartbeat whatsoever and can bomb it a million yards. Or you better hope that he has enough talent around him to make plays where he is just incapable. I mean, we're talking about like Peyton Manning when they won, when the Von Miller, Peyton Manning team, and like that's what you got to hope on. Anyways, we've diverted from this.
Shane, I have a quick shout out.
Okay, go ahead and shout out. What is it?
This goes back to the Bears game. I was pretty sad. I watched the entire game. The first half I went, I can't believe I took the Packers to lose. This is bad. There's one guy who, I'm not kidding, it was the worst individual performance I've ever witnessed live in my life. Number one worst, dude. I know I exaggerate and I say somebody played the worst. This is the worst performance.
Okay, tell me.
No, this is the Chicago game. This is so bad. This guy, and he knows it. If he watches this, he's going to agree with me.
Are you going to say Dobbs?
No, Jordan Love went after this guy every single play, and the announcers even called it out. I think it was Romo. Kyler Gordon literally couldn't even run. Receivers were, they pointed and they found, where is he? And every single guy caught a pass. They actually would have won the game, except Romeo Dobbs dropped a pass at the 20-yard line after he burned Kyler Gordon and would have scored and won. He dropped it, hit him in his stupid bobblehead fucking helmet.
That's the weakness of the Bears all season, though, is that secondary. It's been like,
dude, and he's rated as like a top guy, and I'm sure he is because I've heard his name before, like, you know, being tossed around with one of the best corners in the game. This guy was so bad, they moved him to safety to try to get him off. And then the Packers would throw somebody in motion and he would be on again. And Jordan Love didn't even read the defense. He went, where's 6?
Dude, I
and
love it.
He would throw it right at him. Like, dude, that guy, when they're watching film this week, he's going to be crying.
I bet. Dude, I bet. You know what the Bears need? They need a sparkling white, like a Cooper DeJean. That would really make it.
So they did put in the Packers. It was funny. I saw this on Bustin' with the Boys. They did a milk check in the end zone. The Bears threw in a white guy, or the Packers threw in a white guy, and Colston Loveland, they put Colston Loveland on him. Colston literally blew by him and caught a touchdown and was dancing. And it was so sad, dude. This guy didn't even come close to touching him. Like, Colston Loveland is the truth. And I feel bad because I said, why would they pick him at 9?
Same.
Like, that's the dumbest pick ever. And he is a baller, bro.
I said the same thing because I was like, dude, they already have Cole Kmet. He's pretty damn good, too.
Yeah.
They took him over Tyler Warren, too. Who had
that was the craziest thing. He would have been just as good in this offense. But Colston Loveland, dude, he's legit. I'm now a Caleb believer. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big game for me.
I tell you what, he is very saucy.
He's fun I know what to make of him. He's Carl Anthony Towns.
That is exactly what he is. He's the Carl Anthony Towns,
dude. He's like, free throw.
Where's the flag?
Ow, where's the foul?
Yeah, but it's like swish.
But to come back and have that composure, like knowing the history of the Bears and how like they just never really come back. They never. There was a stat that showed up on the screen in the third quarter of that game. Said the Bears have the largest comeback that they've ever had in the playoffs. It was either like 6 or 9 points, like something around that, and like they just absolutely blew that record off. But Caleb has just the mental mindset you have to win a game like that when your back's against the wall. That's what a superstar quarterback does. You know, there's not many.
Dude, that was bad.
That was really like, I wasn't alone, was I?
No, dude, he's been at 28% connection this whole time.
Jeez Louise. I was like, "All right, maybe Colin can hear him. I can't hear anything he's
No,
saying."
I was going like,
Like, what is happening, bro?
yeah, poor guy.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I'll say, um, I do not like Caleb Williams as a guy. I think he's not a good leader. It's not a guy that I would want as the face of my franchise. I think he's too much of a prima donna. Some of it's the nails stuff, some of it's just how he carries himself and having a real spicy attitude at all times. It's just like, it's
Dude,
so Carl Anthony Towns, it drives me fucking nuts. That's a
that's
great.
why Ben Johnson works.
Yes. He does work. He actually really likes him a lot. Like, they get
Yes.
along really, really well.
Yeah, I was saying that, you know, just how Caleb came back in like the fashion that he did, the history of the Bears, all that. That's something that only like a superstar quarterback can really do. Now, time will obviously tell with that, but I love what you guys are saying about his relationship with Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's such a great coach. Kind of a good
Yep.
segue for us to talk about our coach rankings.
Great. That is a great segue into it. So last week we had the QB trust pyramid, and we're going to get to the QB trust pyramid at some point after this. But first, I said, you know what? We got a trust pyramid. Why don't I do a power ranking on coaches right now? The coaches that are left in the playoffs. And this is like, if my life were on the line, my contract, my livelihood, everything about me was on the line as a player. Who do I want manning my sideline? Who do I want getting me prepped for the week? Who do I want managing the game while it's happening? Who do I trust in crunch time to make the right substitutions, the right timeouts, everything? Who knows the rule book in and out? So I said, you know what? I got something. And usually I would go 8-1, but today I'm gonna reverse it on you guys.
And there is one guy on there I think is too low. I'll say it.
Give me Sean McDermott.
Gentlemen, what I have prepared for you today, in the words of my younger brother Colin Hall, is our playoff coaches power ranking scale. Now, gentlemen, number 1, Sean McVay. You know why? The guy's been there. Number 2, Mike Vrabel. I'm sorry. I enjoy Mike Vrabel as a guy. And I also think he's one of the smartest coaches that's left in this. And I think he's one of the best at motivating his players and getting them where they need to go. I'm not going to elaborate on McVay. The guy's been there. He's been fucking awesome. Shanahan, number 3. Again, not really any need to elaborate on that. As I progress here, it gets a little interesting. I do think that I might have Ben Johnson a touch high. I think I do.
I
But
disagree.
I
I
don't
think
know.
that he's proven that he's innovative enough, and I appreciate energy. I like his energy. I like his style. I like how his team responds to him. I like guys that are also aggressive. What I don't like is guys that I really can't trust when the moment rises. And so with the guys that are on the left side of the screen, your McVays, your Vrabels, the Shanahans, even Ben Johnson, I just get the vibe from those guys that they are prepared and the moment is not too big for them. They might not win every game. In fact, they don't. Most guys don't. But they win more often than they don't. And the other side of the screen that's going to come up, there's a guy that I think a lot of people would have higher on this list. I don't trust him at all. That's Sean Payton.
I don't trust him at all, dude.
I don't think that this guy is great when it matters the most. I think he's an awesome guy to get a program started, to run a team during the regular season. I cannot tell you how many times the Saints flopped in crunch time, in playoff moments. And I'm sorry, winning one Super Bowl, it doesn't do it for me, guys. It really doesn't. Like, I don't care that you won one Super Bowl right around the time we were
2004.
getting out of the Korean War. Like,
Yeah,
get out of
exactly.
that. Just it doesn't do it for me. And with respect to a couple of the guys on this list at 6 and 7, there's just not enough on the resume there. So I got D'Amico Ryans at 6. I think what he's been able to do with the Texans, which was honestly like a travesty of a franchise. We're talking Bill O'Brien as your head of everything for way too long. That imprint, that takes a lot to overcome. He seems to have done it. And I think
Yep.
that his ranking is less about him and more about not having enough experience with D'Amico as a coach. He was always a pretty good player. I think that he has clearly got the defense to a point where it's going to be very interesting to watch them go into New England and see how they perform and put Drake May to the test. I don't know enough about McDonald. I think that he's proven as well, like he's awesome as a coordinator. Clearly, first year as a head coach, pretty damn good to be a 1 seed in a pretty tough NFC. So that's really not about him as much as it is about just not having enough time with him to see what he can do in those clutch moments when it matters most.
I think McDermott's fantastic. When he was with the Ravens, he had that defense playing like a top tier defense.
You mean
You mean McDonald?
You mean McDonald, because I know for
McDonald?
a fact
Yes,
you
yes.
don't mean
My
Sean
fault.
McDonald.
I got the
think
McD's mixed up.
you
Yeah.
did. A lot of
Um,
Sean's in here and a lot of McD's.
yes.
And
McDonald.
Sean McDermott.
Shout out.
He was great though with Baltimore when he was there. They were top tier defense. He leaves, and then all of a sudden, the first few games this year, the Ravens are giving up 40 points, 30 points, 40 points, 40 points. It was like insane. So I think what he's done's great. He's kind of rebuilt.
So you like McDonald. Clearly, he's done a good job.
Shane,
Talk to me.
he's beat the coaches you have at 1 and 3 in that division. He's in
I
the
know.
toughest division.
But here's the thing. I've seen a lot of coaches do that and be freaking awesome in the regular season or have moments where they do it. What I've seen from the guys, especially at 1, 2, and 3, is consistency at beating other teams. Sometimes those teams are better than they are and they have more talent. And guess what? They still find a way.
You can say the thing for Shanahan, but he's never really gone all the way, you know? Like I like Shanahan personally. The guy blows leads. He blows leads. He's bad with clock management
That is true.
when it comes down to it. I love if this was a ranking list of who I'd want to play for, he'd certainly be in my top 3. But in terms of coaches that I trust, I would put McDonald a little higher up, and I would also put D'Amico Ryans. I mean, he just won a game with a quarterback who had 5 fumbles and a pick.
Yeah,
That is
true.
true. I mean, I would put, that's what I have right now. I'm giving Sean Payton more the benefit of the doubt than I think I should, just because he's been around the league for a long time. He has coached in a lot of playoff games and a lot of meaningful games. They have not gone well. I trust him to get his teams to a certain point. He'll get them to the playoffs. It's just when they get there, they are outperformed, and in particular, outperformed in crunch time. Sometimes it's not his fault. Sometimes it's wild, weird stuff. I mean, do you remember where their NFC Championship game against the Rams and that like weird no call on pass interference? Stuff like that happens periodically, but God bless, dude. Way too many times they've been the favorite and have not performed. And I got to hold it against people that can't rise to the moment. Vrabel's never had a quarterback. Vrabel had Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. Are you kidding me? My God. Ryan Tannehill? Tannehill. Come
What
on.
about Levis? He had Levis too.
Oh my God. Stop. Like, what can you do with that? I mean, you're literally making a fucking building out of Play-Doh. That's what you're doing.
Exactly my case, and I think I'm the only one that thinks this in this room, maybe in all of America, for all I'm concerned. I do not think Drake May is very good. I will say it. I think he is riding the coattails of a very solid offensive line, a good run game, good team defense, easy schedule. I think he's an okay.
That probably is a good part of it, yeah.
I think he's an okay decision maker, but I'm telling you, he is not cut from the same cloth as the guys that we have circled in our top 5 quarterbacks of the whole league. He's not that good.
Okay.
disagree
Well,
with
I
that.
disagree because their offensive line is middle of the pack, if not worst. His receivers, his best one is 32 years old, just caught a case.
What up, Turk?
He's got other no-name receivers. He has a decent tight end who I like, Hunter Henry. But his running back, yeah, he's good. Travion Henderson. Ramondre Stevenson's been okay his whole career. I mean, the fact that he's able to put on a show week in and week out and get W's. Yes, his coach has a lot to do with it and a good defense, but he's not working with an amazing skillful roster like the 49ers or the Rams with Puka and Devontae Adams and all these tight ends. Like he's like his best guy is Stephon Diggs. Like that's not even that good.
They've played the Jets twice, the Dolphins twice. They played the Browns this year, the Panthers, the Steelers, the Raiders. Literally, they have played the worst team. The best team that they played all season was Buffalo or even the Ravens, and they went 1-3 and 1-2 in those games. I just don't think that they're going to be that good. The Chargers matchup that they drew, they were easily the worst teams.
Who was the Patriots starter last year?
Drake May.
Who was it before that?
It was like Jacoby Brissett, I think, and Joe Milton.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hey, don't
might have
talk
been
about
Matt
Jacoby
Jones.
Brissett like that.
You know
He
what?
actually had a great
Maybe.
year. For
Yeah,
Jacoby
he
Brissett
did, dude.
standards, he tore it up.
No,
Most
for anyone's
completions in
standards, dude.
NFL history for a single game.
Yeah, he broke a record this year.
Oh, for God's sakes, dude. I don't
In
wanna
a
hear about
loss.
Jacoby Brissett. In a league
a
where
loss.
Joe Flacco can come off the couch and bomb 400 yards. I don't want to hear about Jacoby Brissett.
Dude, you're gonna have to start hearing about it.
Okay,
Turn
he
on the-
runs like he's in quicksand. What are you talking about,
He's
Jacoby?
money,
No,
dude.
he's good, dude.
He's money.
Much better than Kyler Murray.
Much better.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray's
yeah, I think everybody's better
terrible.
than Kyler Murray. I don't care what anybody
I
says.
agree,
Kyler
dude.
Murray is not good.
Like I talk crap about CJ Stroud and Jalen Hurts, but I would take them just
Oh,
I don't
any
even
day.
like dude,
Any day.
any day over Kyler Murray.
Not even close. I mean, that might be my last quarterback. Speaking of last place, it's Sean McDermott. Back to this coaches list. He's easily the worst coach there. I don't know how he's still employed by this
Yeah, I don't know.
franchise, other than
I
maybe
do.
they're like, look, it's so fucking cold up here that we really can't convince a lot of people that this is the place to be. He's the only one that like really wants to be here, I think, right now. And he's carried by a fucking Goliath. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like the rest of the team is like, meh. And this guy consistently fails in big moments, can't manage his team, can't prepare them properly. I don't know how he's employed. He might have pictures of the owners somewhere
Yep.
locked
Mhm.
away. And listen, if you guys fire me, I'm going to send this shit to all the news channels and stations and everybody. Don't do it. I don't know. There's no excuse for him to have a job now that he continues to have one. Good for him and his family, I guess. But the guy is not good, and
Yeah.
he has skated for way too long. He's probably like 2 years past when he should have been fired, and still somehow there. So he is far and away the last person on my list, the person that I would trust the least. He is just weighted out by the best quarterback in there.
Yes. I
So-
think Tomlin would be a great fit there.
I like him. I think Brian Daboll's a natural fit because he was his offensive coordinator there before he jumped ship to go to the Giants. He'd be a good fill-in. But I also throw a lot of accountability, not so much on McDermott. This GM too has got to be horrendous.
Dude.
They draft bad every year. He's drafted Dalton Kincaid in the first round. You look at these most recent tight ends
Deion Coleman.
round, you've got Colston Loveland, you've got Tyler Warren, Brock Bowers. First round tight ends are supposed to be super.
Trey McBride
Is not that. And then, I mean, we just talked about the Von Miller thing too. Buffalo signed him to like $100 million deal a couple years ago.
Idiot.
Yeah.
This
Idiots.
GM has got to go in Buffalo. He's been lucky by 17.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe the Giants GM is still in, dude. Joe Shane, he's just pitiful. You know what? I will say this, guys. I did crap on Harbaugh because I did not like him for the Ravens. I actually do, hot take, like him for the Giants because he is a culture guy. I think he's good for them. They're a team in an organization, especially because their GM just sucks ass, has no culture. He'll at least bring that.
He'll set a standard again. They haven't had a standard since
Yes.
red face, red nose Coughlin.
Yeah. Oh, hated him, dude.
I know.
You'll be a
That
good
was the
fill-in.
last time they had a standard, though. The rest of the coaches that have been there since and have been freaking terrible. I mean, at least he had some kind of culture. And I'll say, Mike Tomlin with Harbaugh and Tomlin, they're the prior to them, leaving their positions or being asked to leave, they were the longest tenured guys, and I think deservedly so to a point because there is something to be said for stability and for guys that can maintain culture and all that stuff. I've never, and this is going to be a hot take, I guess, dude. I don't think he's a good coach. I'm sorry. I know that people are like,
What?
"What? What do you mean? How can you
I'm
say that?"
people.
You can be the people. Great. You want to know my case? They have been underperformers in Pittsburgh for way too long. And every time, every season, there is a discipline issue with them every single time. Do you think they were more talented than the Patriots teams that beat them? I do. I think that the Patriots should have lost to them way more than they did. They should have beaten the Chiefs. They should have beaten a lot of teams that they had more talent than, but they had awful discipline. That's from leadership. God awful discipline. They were never prepared. And the last time that you felt really good about a Steelers team was when Big Ben was
Antonio Brown.
30, 29, 30, and they had Palomalu and James Harrison and all these guys that were just outrageous monsters on defense. That's when you felt good about the Steelers. You haven't felt that for a long time, so it's way overdue. Again, I appreciate that there is something to be said for stability, especially in a league where the average coach lasts 3 years, 4 years at best. And there is something to be said for that. You at least know what you're getting as a franchise, as a fan base, as whatever. But god damn, I can't take like he was great. You know what he's great at? Sound bites.
Yes.
And giving you the big ass eyes and telling you exactly, well, we're men, we don't make excuses. We ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about this. Great for that. And I think he is a leader in that respect. But there's more to being an NFL coach than that. I don't think that you don't look at Tomlin and like, oh wow, he really knows the rule book like a Belichick or a Vrabel. You don't say, oh wow, he can really out coach people like McVay or Shanahan with X's and O's. Like, when's the last time you fucking said that about Steelers team? Never. Um, what you know him for is being the face of a franchise that had really gritty players for a long time and a hard-nosed defense. And this whole thing about 8-8 every year, like, dude, how long can that go on? I'm sorry, you're no better than a Zach Taylor to me if that's all you can do consistently. Anybody can do that. The NFL has so much parity and so much fluidity about it every single year. Any team can go 8-8, 9-7, 7-9. Like, there's enough talent out there. All those guys get paid. So I'm sorry. I don't think that there's really anything special about Tomlin. I think he got by on a pretty mediocre resume, had coached incredibly talented players. When you have Le'Veon Bell at his peak, you have Antonio Brown at his peak, you had Ben Roethlisberger, who will be in the Hall of Fame. Say what you want about him. Has he ever been the best quarterback in the league? No, but you could rely on him to be a top 5 quarterback in most years when he was healthy. You have to do better as a coach, as a GM, as a franchise than what they have been for the last 10 years. There's no excuses for him. And I'm sorry, he had to go. And it doesn't seem like the Steelers were ready to let him go. So for him to be man enough to be like, listen, I gotta go and send himself out the door, assuming that's how it went, then good for him. It's about time. About 10 years too,
Yeah.
yes, me.
It's about time.
You've convinced me. Plus, when he did win, it was with the coaching staff he inherited.
Yeah,
And
it
players
was a
that he
lot of that,
inherited, and it's not like the coach gets to pick all the players, but yeah, Come
I
on.
will give him some
Go ahead,
benefit
Griff.
of the doubt, though, that it is tough to, like, you're he was in the process of trying to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's very tough to do, and it's tough to do because Pittsburgh is very similar to Green Bay in the respect that you never see them picking, like, top 5 in the draft, you know? There's never a team that's gonna tank and then have that option to get that superstar offensive guy that's gonna be that difference maker. Like, every year when you've gotta wait and you just had another disappointing postseason, 0-7 or 0-8 in his last postseason games. Obviously, that's unacceptable, especially in a place like Pittsburgh,
Terrible.
but when you're doing that and you're constantly picking at in that 22 to 26 range in the draft, like, you're
Be
not
better.
really gonna take that leap, and you're stuck in, like, that no man's land of, "Oh, we're borderline playoffs." Like, he has that record of, like, just being, like, perfectly, like, 500, you know?
Here's the thing, though. They're still picking players, and there's
Mhm.
still plenty of damn good players that go late in the first round that go I mean, explain the Chiefs to me. Explain the other team, the Patriots over the years, and the reason they fired Belichick eventually was because, like, Jesus, dude, like, yeah, you don't have Brady anymore, but even when you had Brady the last 5 years, I mean, he had to make, uh, fucking gourmet meals out of McDonald's
Mhm.
because you kept drafting shit.
Yep.
There's a scouting department for a reason. There is analytics departments for a reason. The coaches is a huge part of that. They're the CEO of the organization. You have to run it better than what he's run it. And I get that he's a handsome guy. He's a great figurehead. He's a great speaker. But if that's all you are, then I'm sorry. You're John Harbaugh. You're expendable.
Mhm.
They're the same guy. They're in the same division, were at least, and they both skated on middling resumes, and it's because they had like a couple of good years where they went to the Super Bowl or got won a Super Bowl on somebody else's back, and awesome for them. That's great. They'll always be able to say I'm a Super Bowl champion, and they'll always be able to have that ring, and people will always want to hire them because of that.
Yeah.
But when it's not your fault that you did that, eventually people figure it out. Good for Pittsburgh for finally being like, you know what? Whether it was his choice or theirs, the fact that they can start fresh, good for them. Good for them. Suck or be freaking awesome. There is no in between. The purgatory of in between is maddening, dude. Look at the Ravens the last few years. They've been expected
The
to be
same
awesome, and they've
situation.
sucked. Look at what it's like to be I think you would probably rather be maybe a Ravens where your expectations are super high, sometimes you don't meet them, sometimes you get close, or a Bills where it's the same thing. Maybe you'd rather be that than an Arizona Cardinals where you have no expectations, and then, like, once every 15 years, you go on this one wild run, or the Panthers, you know what I mean? When they had Cam, and it's like, "Wow, fuck, you got one great run in," and then it's get back to a decade plus of mediocrity, and no one cares to watch these games. Maybe you'd rather have that. I'd rather have my team in the mix with a chance, and I don't think that it's not like he hasn't had teams that have had that, is what I'm trying to say. He has
Yeah.
had plenty of
I mean,
chances and opportunity
there was
teams,
that
and
year
they
in 2020 for
lived up
that
to it.
where they started off 11-0, and then they ended up just crumbling. They were, like, no doubt the 1 seed, like, everything was gonna run through them, 11-0 start, and first round exit. And that's kind of
Yeah,
been the story of Tomlin as of late. But like, you see that with him, Harbaugh. You can't have these, like, figure head coaches. That's not what the league is. You got to be a schematic guy in some way, shape, or fashion. You got to be, hey, I am a defensive guy, and my thing is I send crazy blitz packages, and we're going to get after the quarterback. Or my thing is I'm an West Coast guy. I'm gonna scheme it up and make sure my quarterback's getting the ball out quick and we're running zone run. These guys all have their own styles now, and they draft guys to fit their styles. Whereas Tomlin, Harbaugh, they're like, we'll just take best available. We'll throw them out there. We'll see what 11 guys can do.
well, exactly, dude. There's a reason that all these young guys have been hired, and the thing that's really, really difficult, not just in this business, but any business, is staying on top. Getting the recognition, getting a culture turned around pretty quickly. Look at Mike McDonald, look at shit,
Dan
even a couple of
Campbell,
years ago, look at the Dolphins. Look at freaking the guy that just got fired. Look at Mike McDaniels. Like, you can do it. It's been done way more than people like to admit. You can turn around a culture really quickly. It's the maintaining it once it's up top that's really, really, really hard that only the best of the best can do. And what worked 15 years ago with your Belichick's being a hard ass the entire time on you, that shit doesn't work now because the caliber of player, it's probably the same, maybe even a little bit more fine tuned athletically, but mentally, they know so much more from an X's and O's standpoint, and they're
Mhm.
also not used to coaches talking to them in the way that the guys that were a generation or 2 before them were used to coaches talking to them. So your players respond differently. So you can't the people that they keep responding to now that are doing the best, they're your McVays, they're your Shanahans, they're your Mike McDonalds. I don't really have any strong feelings towards Andy Reid, but the guy is an offensive genius, and still
Mhm.
to this day, he can scheme up with the best of them, and it does help that, yes, he has one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen. But,
And tight
dude,
ends.
that's like saying, like, yeah, that guy's a great driver, and maybe it's like the awesome Ferrari that we just got him, like, it could be that, but also, dude, he's got some sick skills with it too.
Yeah.
Now, Andy Reid's problem, like a lot of coaches that we deem great, they all have some kind of flaw. Andy Reid's is if he's driving that Ferrari and he's whipping it around turns every now and again, he's going to be checking his phone just to be like, "Hey, who's messaging me?" And he's going to crash. And it's just because he's poor with game management. That's his knock. Every one of these guys has some knock, but to maintain a culture and being consistent, that's such a skill and a talent that very few guys have. And I think people thought Harbaugh had that. I think people thought Tomlin had that just because they've been there for a long time. But I'm sorry, dude, the results speak for him from what the expectations were. They just have, and it's
Yeah.
time for a new scene for both of them.
There's a few guys too that are kind of those culture builders, and I think Vrabel's definitely one of them. He was very successful in Tennessee. You see, he left, it went right down. He joins New England, they're right back up. Dan Campbell's similar in that respect too. Just like that winning culture, kind of changing things in the building. Some of these job openings is what they need. Like you look at Arizona, they need that. You're in the division. You touched on it. They've got 3 of the top 10 coaches, like no doubt the top 10 coaches. That's a tough division to play in. You need to change the culture there quickly. Because a guy
100%.
like Kyler, who was your leader, it's very murky water over there. You gotta rebuild that foundation. What's interesting about this week is I think this might be the last time ever, because so many new stadiums are getting built, that every divisional round game is outside and they're all going to be like pretty cold weather. You
Oh,
got
that
one
seems
that's in Denver, one that's in New England, in Chicago, and then in Seattle. Those are all cold places, gritty to play. We're going to see some grown man football this weekend.
we certainly are, which kind of, what we touch on this a little bit. I want to get into our trust discussion one more time. I need to circle back to our vaunted, highly regarded QB trust pyramid. So now this has been updated. We've eliminated at least 3 on that bottom tier so far. Bryce Young, they had a good run. I mean, they tried. Jalen Hurts, you were right, man. You were right, Colin. I mean, that was a noodle arm performance. Homeboy he had to take an L. It sucks to say. I didn't think Purdy had it in him, but he did. He tried to cough it up, but Purdy, he hung in there. Rodgers, frankly, just too old. Bo Nix, Darnold, those guys were on buys. We'll see how they do this weekend. Caleb, better than I thought. Stroud, god awful. Deserved to have lost that game, but he's going to stay on the bottom rung until he can prove that he can actually play football when it matters. Now, 2 of your guys that you had on that third tier, Herbert and Lawrence, they just had the unfortunate occurrence of going up against guys that were higher on the list.
Yep.
So Herbie, I'm going to feel bad for that guy for a while. I think he is tough as hell. I think that dude is a good player. I do think that he didn't play as well as, I think a lot of people do make excuses for him because he does throw a pretty ball, but he did have receivers open. He didn't hit them and didn't throw it to him. He is just going to be the Phillip Rivers of this generation.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is gonna have he's got
Ugh.
a way better arm than Philip Rivers. He's gonna be involved in discussion as one of the best and, top 5, top 10 for his entire career just because he throws that pretty ball. He's a big dude, but they're always hurt, and it's never gonna be good enough. Unless Harbaugh drafts, like, only offensive line for the next, like, 10 years and they move whatever power plant is next to that stadium that's also something is in the water in
They're fine
California.
at O-line when they're healthy. I mean, they've got 2 of the best tackles in the league when they're healthy. They're just never healthy, you know?
I can't tell, as my boy Shannon would say. I mean, it's unfortunate, dude. It's like every year it's the same freaking story. And unfortunately for him, he went up against Drake May. Didn't lose because of Drake May. I think he just played against a very well prepared Pats team, and his team was not as healthy as they could have been. And that's going to be the same story for his entire career. It sucks. T Lore, on the other hand, the Prince. Dude, that guy, I don't know what to make of him. I really don't. Weird looking, plays weird, don't trust him. I'd never
Walks like a duck.
well, listen, dude, I don't know what kind of that might be like one of these ambiguous ducks, dude. Like, what is he? A non-binary? I don't know what he is. And he plays like it too. Like, what is he good? Is he not good? I don't know. I know that he can make the throws. I just get the impression the dude does not care. I don't know what he cares about, but it
I
doesn't
don't think
seem
he I don't think he thinks a lot, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, he's just kinda dull, but
And he's rich.
I would not say that that loss was, like, totally on him. I mean, he got the ball back with 30 seconds left, you know, what are you gonna do? But, I mean, I do like the Jags long term. I think they've got a good young team. I love their new coach.
That's the only team that's not in this weekend that I think should be. They're a better team than the Bills. They just ran against Josh Allen. I mean, that's the thing. They should be playing this weekend. I do think that for the most part, the teams that are playing this weekend were the best teams in the NFL this year. So it's fitting. That's just it's a bummer for Jags fans, all three of them that are out there.
Yeah, really. Duval.
Man, this guy. He's better than I thought. I thought after that
You'd
press
be
conference,
you'd be
speaking of horrible
surprised.
presses.
Down here, there's a good representation of Jaguars fans. I was
Really?
very
Charleston, South
surprised by
Carolina?
that.
How
Like, a
about
lot of
that?
people in, like, South Georgia, like, big time, just because it's much closer for them to get to than Atlanta.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah, I hear a lot of Duval chants on Sundays, actually. I'm like, "What? I didn't know you guys
Wow, that's
existed."
incredible.
I think I know, like, 3 Jags fans, which is crazy.
Who the hell knew?
I know all
Um,
3.
I mean, look, I don't really have any more notes on the trust discussion. Um, I think the only one that really jumped out and surprised me a little, I think they're all perfectly placed. I'm curious to see how Nix and Darnold play this weekend. Purdy made some mistakes. That's why he was on the fourth tier. Not a guy that I'm like psyched about being at the head of my team, but it really just depends on who is healthy that day. With Kittle out now,
I
I'm more worried, but we'll see how this weekend goes. I mean, I'm optimistic that it'll be just as good as this past weekend was. This was really one of the best weekends in football.
Mhm.
This past weekend, very good games by and large. I think the worst game was the Monday night one, and we've got a pretty good slate coming up. Is there anything that you're looking forward to this weekend, Griff?
I think they all were pretty close last week. It was really a great round. One last piece for me on this pyramid is I understand a pyramid, the second row, you got to have 2, but you compare May to Stafford. I think Stafford is by far and large the 1B in this conversation to Josh Allen's 1A, and then everybody else. This weekend, though, I mean, I'm very interested to see the 2 1 seeds that haven't played yet. Um,
Yeah.
Historically, you've got the teams that are your regular Super Bowl guys, like the Chiefs in the 1 seed, and you trust them. These are teams where they haven't been in this spot. You don't know, and it's young quarterbacks.
Mhm.
It's Darnold's first year with Seattle. and it's only Bo Nix's second year. When you get that bye, it's tough. I mean, we've seen guys with byes in the past where it has troubled them. So we'll be interested to see how they stack up.
I think like even more so with younger players too. I also think it's two places that ordinarily would have home field advantages, like in a big way. The 2-1 seeds, Denver with the altitude, and the 12th man in Seattle. Ironic, like Denver just unfortunately they got a guy who played at frickin' Montana coming to town, so he's they were at higher altitude than frickin' Denver, so it's not going to phase him. They're already used to the cold weather, so we'll see where it goes. I'm more curious to see how the Seahawks play. I have a pretty good idea how the Denver game's going to go. I'd like to be wrong as a Denver adjacent fan. I really don't have a lot of faith in Sean Payton, and I don't have faith in Bo Nix. I said it last week and I'll say it this week. I'll believe it when I see it. If you can show me that you can do it, then I will train my mind to believe. Until then, I'm a hater. Sorry. I don't care how good the defense is. I'm just gonna hate. I'm gonna hate until I see
Loathe
it.
entirely.
Okay. All right. Ready? Predictions. We'll go in chronological order. We're going to start with Denver, Buffalo at Mile High. My pick, Denver. Ekes it out.
They should. I think that's definitely the better team. My head says Denver. My heart does not want to go against Josh Allen the one time that he doesn't have other players of his caliber in this tournament. So I'll say Buffalo just because, dude, the guy's a freaking train. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
love that someone here picked Denver because they are the 1 seed. They've earned that right, and they've had a lot of magic at home. But in my mind, this is Josh Allen's playoffs to lose. This is his tournament. I'm going to pick Buffalo.
Good on you.
Okay. That takes us to the next game. Seattle hosting the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with 49ers +7, but Seattle wins.
I like that. I'm also going to take Seattle. I think that the Niners will put up a fight because most divisional teams do. No matter how much the talent disparity is, they're always going to be close games. Nobody ever really gets blown out in those. I think the rest will be good. I don't think Darnold's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be horrible either. And I think the Niners are too injured. I'm going Seahawks.
Yeah, this is a tough one too. You know, I hate for us to all take the same team, but I'm leaning towards Seattle as well. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he's matchup proof. I think Seattle's got two solid backs. They got a decent line, a quarterback who he had success last year and struggled down the stretch. I think he's really eager to get another shot back at this and kind of prove himself. Whereas Brock Purdy, as an underdog, doesn't really have much to prove. You know, it's not. This is a real legacy game for Darnold. He needs it. I'm gonna take Seattle.
He sure does, man.
Okay. All right. Next game, the Rams and Bears. I think it's in Chicago.
Yes.
Sunday night. Yep.
So for that game, it's tough for me. To me, it's going to be really close because it's cold weather. Stafford's a little bit injured, but sorry, Rams, no one can cover them.
Well, given your analysis of the cornerback from hell in Chicago, you're probably right. I have too much bias in me against older QBs that are not used to cold weather. Even when he was in Detroit, it was in a dome. I should pick Rams. I'm not going to. I don't love the Bears. I'm just going to go with the Bears, though. I think that it's an interesting enough team. I think the talent is there to compete and they have home field advantage. I think it'd be an interesting story. It's not one that I'm like super rooting for, but why not? I'm going to go Bears.
This one's gonna be fun. It's a clashes of two worlds. You've got the Bears, who are this younger, newer team, new coach, young quarterback, bunch of skill guys that haven't been in a position like this, and then you've got on the contrary a very established coach, very established Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, Hall of Fame caliber receivers. And when you go with that, I'm going to trust with what I've seen in the past, and that's the Rams. I just love the connection that Stafford has with his receivers. I think weather doesn't matter. Weather in Carolina when they played, it was supposed to rain. It didn't, but he was outside and he looked fine. He looked like he was really in command of the offense. I love the Rams here.
Okay. Last game in New England, Houston coming to town. This one's going to be low scoring. Both defenses are pretty good. Well, Houston's is really good. It could go either way just because the defenses are so good. But give me the Patriots eking it out barely.
That's my pick as well. And I think it happens in that fashion. I don't think it's high scoring. I'd be shocked if both teams get into the mid 20s. I think it'll be more of a defensive battle, low scoring, 17-14, something like that. And I think the Patriots will do just enough. I think they have the better coach. I think they have the better quarterback. They do not have the better defense, but I think that defense can rise to the occasion in the moment. I think they're good enough to do that. And when it comes to special teams, I'm just going to trust that given Vrabel's history, they're going to be more prepared than the other teams that they play from here on out. So give me the Pats in a squeaker.
I am going to be contrary to you guys here, and I'm going to take the Texans in a dominant win. I don't think it's close at all. I think Houston's defense is far superior. I think New England hasn't run into teams of this caliber, particularly defenses of this caliber. They're going to struggle to move the ball. They just do not have the skill guys to compete with the Texans. They're just so deep on defense. They're loaded everywhere. They've got crazy packages. And on offense, I think if you win a game with a guy that has 6 potential turnovers with 5 fumbles, 2 of them lost, 1 pick, you got it.
You got 2 of them back.
They're winning with that. If he just steps up his game a little bit, the sky's the limit for this Texans team. I think DeMeco Ryans is one of the best coaches in the league, and I think he's going to help prove that on Sunday.
Man, I will be stunned if that happens. If you get a Stroud who is loud and proud and actually plays well. I actually don't think it's possible. For his sake and for his family's sake, I hope that I'm wrong and the guy's good. But Jesus, I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, and even if something happens to him, I like Davis Mills too. I just like this Texans team. I think that
I prefer Davis Mills. There's just something about him, and I can't put my finger on it.
I can't quite put my finger on it. There is just something about this Davis Mills. I don't know what it is. You just gotta trust him in the pocket a little bit more, you know?
I can't really put my finger on it.
I do think this game comes down to early. If the Texans can't establish the run, I mean, they haven't been able to. And then this wild card round, they were against the Steelers. Like, that was Willie Mark's best game. But that's just something they haven't been able to do all season. That's something New England is good at. They've got 2 really good backs. So if New England controls time of possession and grounds and pounds it, I think they can do it. But I still like Houston.
Well, they're certainly smart enough to do it. We'll see if they can actually pull that off. All right. That's going to be it for the NFL coverage. Boys, any other final thoughts before we wrap?
No, I'm just excited. Have some beers and watch these.
Let's go, baby. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of the Open Floor. In the next episode, we'll cover a little bit more on the college football playoffs and why January is just owned by football, and deservedly so. So appreciate everybody being here with us. Make sure that you like, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and anywhere else. We love you.
Peace. All right. See you guys.